We'll be back in a second. I have to take a piss.
There you go.
You forgot to flush.
Maybe we forgot to tell him about the mute button. Oh, he found it.
Too late.
What should I hit the mute button before I go for a piss? Yeah.
It's gonna make for an awesome intro, Kurt.
Work for it, you're a baby.
So, it's just me and you tonight, Albert.
We have a guest.
Yeah.
So how was your week, Keith? What happened?
My week. You know what I did all week? It was lots of fun. Updating like all SEO bullshit on the website, like trying to figure out all the crap that I should have done a long time ago when I started. Such a pain in the ass. Well, so SEO's
Keywords and stuff, or what?
Keywords, search engine optimization, like stupid things like when I first started taking pictures of something and the pictures just like 587 8Q JPEG, which doesn't help any search engine find anything on your website. So you need to do like rename every single picture and make sure that you have the right keywords and your descriptions for each product. And it's a pain in the ass. So much work.
Fuck. How many hours did go into this?
Oh, that's like what I've been doing all week. Every time I go home from work or in the morning in between doing orders and something.
But give us a rough estimate. It's like 30 hours, 40 hours, more?
2 hours every day before work, and if I had time after, I don't know. Yeah, I probably got at least 20 hours into it this week already.
Oh, fuck. Okay. And that's not particularly fun work, right?
No, and then like halfway through, I was like, I'm just going to pay for an app that's going to do it for me. And then I cheaped out and took the free version, and it does help with a lot with it, but you still have to do everything individually.
How much would have been the paid version?
Well, you can do like $40 a month, $60 a month, but it's still like, it's not going to do everything you need for you. So then I got a quote from the company who makes the app. They'll have somebody use their own app and do it for you. And it was like 850 euros. And I'm like, screw that.
Okay, that's a lot. Yeah.
I'll keep messing with it and also learn how to do it. And once I get the website caught up, then I just know that when I add a new product, I need to do that right away. Like name the picture correctly and put the right kind of keywords and stuff into the product descriptions and shit. It'll be interesting to see if it changes anything. I mean, there's only so many knife makers out there, so I don't know how many new ones I'm going to bring in by having the right SEO combinations, but we'll see.
Your domain is pretty good. I mean, knifematerial.it, I mean, it's in the name, right, what you're selling. So the name gives it away already. So that also might help, right? Having a good domain. Yeah, that sounds boring. Sorry, man.
Yeah, that's boring. It was boring. Been working on getting some details for the charity project we'll be doing again this year at Solingen. Getting all the knife makers together and emailing all the blade dimensions and shit that they need and get all the details that we can get going. I don't have any new information that I can give out yet, but
okay,
it's going.
How many is on the list now? How many knife makers?
We have 20 knife makers, and we have one extra knife that it's got some details I can't give out yet, but it'll be something cool. Okay.
So we can do it like we did last year, right? We can bring the knives to Solingen with us. We don't have to send them in advance. Right?
Oh, no. We're going to have to send them because we have a website already put together, and we're going to have all these knives out on the website so people that want to buy tickets can see what they're buying the tickets for. Last year, they got to see, I mean, if they had Instagram, they got to see some of the progress pictures, but that was kind of a problem because not everybody uses Instagram. And so, in order to get out.
Yeah, but it's relevant information. So when do the knives have to be done or be somewhere?
It was on the email that I sent you. If you read through it, it had the date.
No, I didn't. And neither did the listeners, by the way. So, do you remember?
No, I don't remember off the top of my head what it was. I think it was September. beginning of September or something. They had to be mailed to Meerschot so he can get all the pictures together and we can put it up on the website.
Plenty of time still.
So a month before the show.
Okay, good.
How about Albert? What was your week like?
It was very busy because we did 2 field trips this week, Andy and I. We went to Carinthia yesterday, Millstadt. We delivered the Maguro Bochos, the tuna slicers.
Yeah.
Because we decided to make 2 so that he can decide which one he wants, so that he has an option or an alternative.
But wait, and the tuna slicer was a secret last time. Nobody even knows about it except for me. So
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
We built the Maguro Bocho tuna slicer. Really? Didn't we talk about it last? Maybe off air.
Yeah. So that's like almost a sword, like a samurai sword length, right?
Blade length is 54 centimeters, and in total I think it's almost 80 centimeters long. So it's a significant
two-handed sword.
Yeah, and we have a very nice handle made out of African blackwood and mammoth ivory.
Mm-hmm.
And we made 2. So we made one very clean version without any forged scale on it, and one with forged scale on it, so that he has an option that he can choose. One is a bit thinner than the other one, and he liked them so much, so he bought both of them.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, that's a good deal. I mean, we made him a good deal, so
yeah,
because he bought both. Yeah, and he invited us to the event next week, so we have to be part of the event.
What is the event? You get to watch him slice it up and everything?
Yeah, it's a big. I mean, he invited like people from all over Austria, because it's a very rare occasion that someone in Austria has a 250 kilogram tuna, right? So that's a significant fish.
Yeah.
So he invited like all kinds of people from all over Austria, and yeah, there's a limited number of places, and he insisted on us being there next week for the event. So we have to go back next week again for 2 days, because we're not driving back after the event. Because yesterday we had to drive back and we got home pretty late. And yeah, after a few glasses of wine, it's not that great. It's not that great to drive for like 3 hours or something. Yeah. So we're gonna stay there next week for the event and overnight.
So you're going to do like the sword reveal over again, the tuna slicer reveal in front of the crowd, and then he's going to slice up the tuna? Or?
No, he does that. I mean, he bought it for his son.
Okay.
Because his son is into sushi, and that's why they bought the tuna. He bought it for his son. So they're going to slice up the fish next week with these swords. So
I'm picturing it's hanging like Fortune Fire style by its tail from the ceiling, and they're going to go at it? Or is it a little bit more delicate than that?
What do you mean? The fish? No,
yeah.
It's 250 kilograms. I think it's going to be on a table. So they're not going to cut it up like they do it in Unfortunate Fire. No. And I think it's way too expensive to do it like that. Because when you watch Japanese chefs cutting up a tuna, the cuts are very precise. So they know exactly what they're doing. So every cut is very precise. And there's a certain order of cuts you have to make to slice up a tuna properly from what I've seen. Mm-hmm. But that's not my business. That's the son's business to cut up the tuna. I'm only going to be there for the food and the drinks. So that was yesterday. And today we did another field trip because surprise, we bought a new power hammer, a small one. I think it's 34 kilograms of ram weight, a Kuhn Reiter again, which is going to be our next project.
Rebuild?
A whole rebuild again, yeah, like we did with Fingal's power hammer.
Yeah.
And talking about Fingal's power hammer arrived in Ireland at his shop. So
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he's got it up and running.
Yeah, I don't know if it's running already, but he got it into his shop already, and I think he put it where it's supposed to be. Yeah.
And you guys made a nice plaque to put on the side.
Yeah, that's what like refurbished by Salzburger Messerschmiede, and the date and the names and stuff. Yeah, like what's it called in English? In German, it's called Typenschild, right? So
the nameplate.
Nameplate or machine plate or something. Yeah, and we're gonna do that with all the machines and power hammers we're rebuilding now. It's a shame because we have been rebuilding like a few already without this plate on them. Because we didn't have a fiber laser back then, but now we're going to do that plate with all the machines we're rebuilding. Yeah. So that's going to be our next project. So if anyone needs a Kuhnreiter power hammer, send us a message. We'll be done like in 2 years.
This is a good size. Like most people that have a forge area in their shop or at their home, they can fit this thing in there.
Yeah, you can put it in a garage. I mean, it's so small. Yeah. Of course, I mean, it comes at a price, right? It's 34 kilograms of ram weight, so it doesn't have that much power. But for bladesmithing and forging a blade into shape, it's sufficient, I think. I've been doing Damascus, I don't know, right? I mean, it takes forever. But like forging monosteel blades into shape, or if you buy Damascus and do the finish forging, it's a good machine. Hangler has, I think, like 3 of these.
Yeah, Hangler has them. Kamon has one, I believe.
Yeah, I think Kamon has a similar one, but Kamon has, I think, a Turkish power hammer. And I think it's the ram weight's a bit higher. I think is it 40 kilograms or something? Yeah. I mean, that's not that much of a difference, but still, yeah. It's very similar, but it's a different machine. It's not a Kuhnreiter. Kamon has, yeah. Now we want to be done like within the next, I'm always overly optimistic, but let's say in the next couple of months or so. Because we've just rebuilt one, so we know exactly how the machine works and what we need to do.
So it'll be ready for the Soling intro.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, if someone is at Solingen, Solingen, you mean Knife Show Austria, not Solingen.
Well, Solingen was in October. I was giving you a couple extra months.
Yeah, we'll be done by that. I mean, we have to be done by that. But we might be done in May for Knife Show Austria. So
actually, I think you should be because. Probably find a buyer there.
I mean, for these machines, there's so many buyers out there because they're so useful and so small, and you don't need like a foundation, a special foundation for it. So it's easy to set up and it's easy to work with. And there are still spare parts for these machines, right? Because they're fairly new. With the Béchets, it's different because with the old power hammers, you have to machine the spare parts yourself or you have some company do it. Mm-hmm. But with the Kuhnreiter power hammers, you can buy new dies, brand new dies at Angelis, and you can buy brand new piston rings at Angelis. So there's spare parts you can still buy at like they're very affordable as well. So which makes it a very interesting machine. Yeah.
We got a guest that we had on almost a year ago. I think we should get him in the room here before he falls asleep.
We should. Yeah.
We got Kurt Glatt.
Hey guys.
Hi Kurt.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yeah,
of course. Thanks for coming to the show.
Sure.
So you heard the story about the new power hammer again?
Yeah. I just don't have enough space for a power hammer. I just looked over there to my workspace and thought about where I could place a little Kuhnreiter, but there's just not enough space.
But you need less than a square meter for that one, I think.
I don't have a square meter. I have like a total of 36 square meters, and I already have like the hydraulic press and the rolling mill and 2 anvils and 2 grinders and all this stuff. So there's just not enough place.
I mean, room is always an issue, no matter how big your workshop is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you somehow all of us manage to run out of space.
Yeah. How big is your new workspace?
Excuse me?
You moved to
our new shop, and it's already full.
Okay. So how big is it?
We ran out of space.
How many square meters do you have?
400.
400 square meters. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have like 2 power hammers too many. So, because we only can set up 5, but we have 6 heavy power hammers, and we originally wanted to use all 6. But it turns out that we can't build 6 foundations there. So we only have like 5 power hammers now. I mean, which is plenty, but still, we have like 6 very nice power hammers.
What's your biggest power hammer?
The Béchet with 150 kilo ram weight. A Béchet.
150. Okay, nice.
Yeah, that's it. That machine is a beast. You can feel like the pressure when you forge.
And I guess it has like a huge dice.
Huge dice. Yeah, it was used for drop forging.
Oh, okay.
Where we bought it.
Yeah.
We don't. To be honest, we don't really know what we will do with it yet, because the dice that are on there are special dice for drop forging, like agricultural tools.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. I mean, we are bladesmiths, right? So and all we do is Damascus and blades.
Is it like the one from Salem's Drop or even bigger? You know the one from
Salem? I don't
Salem?
know which one's. No, I don't. No.
Okay. You have to check out his Instagram stories. He also has one, like very big one, with monstrous dice.
Yeah, but can you just surface grind the dice to reshape the die that you already have? Or?
You could, yeah, of course, but I don't know if it works with the dice that are on there because you can't really get rid of too much material, right? Because then the RAM has to be at a certain height before the dice hit, right? So if the dice are too small, the RAM might hit the hammer frame and it might crack. So with all the Bechets, there's like a marking on the RAM where it says you have like 10 millimeters or 50 millimeters or whatever left before the inside of the RAM hits the hammer frame. And this must not happen because then you break the power hammer, which is actually a fairly common mistake.
Yeah, I can imagine if you didn't know that beforehand, you run out of travel room and the
or if
power
you
hammer will just break itself.
Yeah, if you get the dice out of the RAM and the anvil and you turn on the machine and you start like forging, or even if you just want to test it, right? The RAM will hit the hammer frame, and the hammer frame is usually it's cast iron and it breaks very easily, as we all know from Will Stelter's video. So there's an indicator on the RAM that tells you how much travel room you have left. So we can't do we can't grind off like 10 centimeters of dice. So we might have to make new ones for that one. And the dice alone, I don't know how heavy they are, but I would guess they weigh at least like 30 to 40 kilos because they're huge.
Yeah.
I tried to catch once one of these dice because with our 100 kilo Bechet, the top die fell out. And I tried to catch it, and it didn't stand a chance. It went through or over my hand like nothing, right? So, yeah. But that was a reflex, right?
Yeah.
So they're super heavy. Yeah. But let's talk about Kurt. I mean, it's not a show about power hammers. I mean, although it sometimes is. But Kurt, what happened to your mosaic knife? What happened there?
Yeah. Bad things happened. Yeah, it just ripped apart. I guess there was.
So you were forging a half integral mosaic.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And when did it break? Because it looks like it broke at the tile weld.
Yeah, it didn't really break. It like really ripped apart on one of the forge welds. So the last weld I did was like pretty complex, like 12 pieces. So 6 in a row and then 2 rows together. So I had to forge weld in like 2 directions. And I don't know why, but one of these cross welds didn't make it.
But can you still do something with the rest of it? Because it seems like you have plenty of material left there.
Yeah, it's not that many. Not sure yet. Maybe I can make like the thickness. Give me a second. It's just over there. Yeah, I'm down to maybe like 4 or 5 millimeters, I guess.
Okay.
So not too much, but yeah, I mean, I still could make like a petty or paring knife out of it, but yeah, not sure yet. If you yell so much on a billet, like I did today, it gets soaked with bad karma, so I'm not sure if I should really continue on this piece.
But what if you forge it into shape? And what if you do like a forged taper on it? If you're at 4 millimeters, I mean, you can draw it out.
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah, but the problem is like it's not only the one weld which broke. It's like the whole cross weld. So it's also like there's. Yeah, it also starts to rip apart in the middle.
Ah, okay, shit.
Between the 2 rows.
Exactly.
Ah, yeah. Okay, if you zoom in, you can see that.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, okay.
So if I continue forging, I guess it might rip apart there too. And then you have only like half of the mosaic left, which looks shitty. So
that was a pretty cool pattern too.
Yeah, the pattern was pretty cool.
Was that the pattern you were aiming for? Or
No,
it happened to be?
no. I wanted to make one of Maumasi's Dragon Breath mosaic. But something didn't work out right by forging on bias. So I had like big black parts. You start with a billet with the normal O2 black steel and the nickel gray steel or silver steel, and then I had like a big black piece in the middle, in the center of the billet, and then you forge it out for the crushed Cs, and you cut the billet in the center line. So you have like crushed Cs which you can restack, but with...
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture. I have it here in front of me in my shop. I can see the step you're at.
Yeah.
Then you line up all your Cs on top of each other, restack them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have like this, the black on the outside and the dragon breath or the flames on the inside. But something didn't work out on the forging on bias, so my black parts didn't move to the outside correctly. Mm-hmm. And that's how the monkey...
That's how you got the monkey face?
Exactly.
So how long does it take you to get to that point before
the monkey face?
The weld side to break up?
I guess I will never hit the monkey face again, but maybe like 6 hours, 8 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine the words that were flying out of your mouth when it split open on you.
Yep. It didn't happen in a long time. Like when I first started with the Damascus stuff and feather Damascus and all this, it happened quite a few times in the beginning. But in the last month, everything worked out like a charm. So, guess it was just the time to mess one piece up. And
do you know where that mistake might come into or out? Because you've done quite a few mosaic pieces too. When they start to split apart on you like that, can you tell where the mistake happens?
Yep, pretty sure there was not enough heat or not enough soak time on this forge welds, one or the other or both.
I mean, there's a number of reasons why it can fail, right? So if air gets in there somehow, an oxide layer builds up, and the forge welds don't stick or don't work, then there's like too little heat, too much heat, too little pressure. So there's like a number of reasons, but usually it's like air that gets, or oxygen that builds up the oxide layer.
Yeah, I mean, on this
how did you do it?
Yeah.
Did you weld it shut, or how did you do it? Or did you use sheet metal for the welds? How did you?
No, nothing.
Or borax?
Yeah, some borax.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Just point weld it and put some borax on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, on this step, it's like when you try to forge weld in two directions, and on this last step, you don't want to compress the billet too much, or you have to, you have to forge it out a lot after your forge welds, and you want to keep the thickness too. So yeah.
But what do you mean forge welding two directions? Is it like the normal mosaic 4 ways? So if you have like 4
it was
bars?
like 12 parts in this case. So 6.
Oh, 12, but
6 and 6.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you have to forge weld like the 6 parts together and also like the 2 rows together.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. So you have to flip it like 90 or turn it like 90 degrees,
exactly.
Right? So that's
exactly.
So that's like the normal 4-way when you do it.
Yeah, more or less like the normal 4-way, but a bit longer. And it was I guess it was the middle part. Let me check. This is part 1, 2, 3, Yeah, pretty sure it was like pretty much in the center, where you normally don't have the same pressure like on the outer parts
on the outside
of the billets. I mean, normally you can like compensate this by using more heat or longer soak times. And I guess I just messed that one up. Happens.
I mean, longer soak times also increase the risk for the oxide layer to build up, right? So like scale.
Yeah. Yeah, but thanks to my forge, the oxide is not not the biggest problem. Can run it very rich on gas. So normally I don't have these problems with the oxide building up fast. So
yeah, you guys are both running the same forge. He's got the
more or less.
The Apollo.
house-made forge to it.
Yeah. How do you clean up the surfaces before? Do you mill it? Do you grind it?
I grind them.
Because it also helps if they're super flat.
Yeah.
So that's why when we do mosaic Damascus, we mill all the surfaces, especially for the four-way.
Yeah.
So we mill all of the surfaces so that they're super flat and clean.
Okay.
That also
I just surface grind them and then give them like a 120K finish.
Yeah, I mean it happens, right?
It happens.
That's just
exactly.
It's like warping after heat treatment or hardening, right? So it's just something you have to deal with.
Exactly.
Sooner or later. Yeah. So.
And I still have like half of the billet left, so there's another try.
Oh, good.
So we'll see how the other half is doing.
So was this an order for a knife that you were making, or are you getting this ready for one of the shows coming up?
No, this is just fun. I mean, I normally do like all this Sanmai and Gomai builds and all this stuff. And the whole mosaic game is just for fun right now. I have like, how many are there? 5? Yeah, a total of 5 of this half integral mosaic Damascus knives, but they are all not really finished yet. I hope we can finish like 3 or 4 of them for the knife show in Austria.
Yeah,
would be pretty cool to
so you got a table there?
Yeah, I got a table there.
Nice. It's going to be an interesting show.
It's going to be super cool. I'm super excited.
It's going to be one huge party.
Yeah.
Before, during, and after.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no clue if there are also any customers or something. I didn't hear any feedback from Martin about the ticket sales. But the lineup from knife makers is insane.
Yeah, that's why I said it's going to be on one huge knife maker and bladesmith's party, because no one knows how many customers are going to be there.
Yeah, that's always the risk when you do that. When you get names like that, and you still gotta bring in the people that are buying.
Yep. You are there too, Albert, right? I didn't see you on the list. Do you have a table on the knife show?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
It's Salzburger Messerschmiede. I think we're under.
Okay. Guess I missed it.
Let me check. Maybe he kicked us out.
No. I think you're the table right to the right of my booth. But what are you guys going to be bringing there? You're going to be selling steel, knives. What are you doing? Power hammers?
All of that, yeah. Like we'll bring a small power hammer with us, and no, it's steel and knives. I mean, we might not be able to finish too many of these knives, so we'll bring like a few.
Yeah,
and we'll bring steel. That's what we're gonna bring. And the knives we're gonna bring are mainly to show off the steels, right? So the different kinds of Damascus steels. And to be honest, I don't really expect to be selling a lot of knives there. It's a matter of the expectations you have, right? So if you go there with very low expectations of selling knives, then it's going to be fun, right?
Yeah.
So, that's that's how we approach this knife show. Yeah.
Are you bringing belts to sell, Albert?
We could, yeah. Do you need some?
Because
we have so many
because
belts.
Matt's gonna bring by all the belts that he has left to the Touch Knife exhibition.
Okay.
And that's why I'm asking. So if there's a shitload of them, I don't know what he's got, but he says they're worthless to him. I know I don't want to start selling belts, but I might just use it to fill up some space.
He still wants to sell these belts. Is it now you, or does he want to sell them to us?
Whoever wants them. If you want them, take them.
No, I don't. I mean, it's not the right belts, I think. I mean, he paid good money for them, I know, but it's not the belts we use, and that's not the belts we need. So, and we buy our belts directly from VSM at a very good price. So it doesn't really make sense for us to pay like $3,000 for or whatever he wants for Matt's belts. Yeah, but you can, just buy them and use them yourself, Keith.
Yeah, I'll have them for the next 20 years.
Yeah, see, you'll never have to buy belts again. No, we will bring belts. Yeah, good idea. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah.
Did you know that there's a huge grid difference from European to American belts? From VSM to 3M? There is. The VSM 24 belts are more or less same as the 40 grid 3M belts. So
But how? How can this be?
They have like VSM is working on DIN norm, German or European norm, and 3M is working on like a US norm. So the grid is different. If you use
you measure it differently.
36 and 36 from VSM and 3M, the 3M will be much sharper or much rougher than the VSM belts.
Okay. I didn't know that, no.
Yeah, that's why I switched to the VSM 24 belt instead of the 36.
Because they're like...
The 24 is pretty much like the 36 from 3M.
But that's good to know if you want to compare like how long you can use a belt.
Exactly.
Right? Because if you have to compare the same grids then. Yeah?
Exactly. It's also on the higher grids, like at 120... 3M belt is like 150 VSM.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other way? Getting confused.
But how did you find out?
I talked to the VSM guy, to the VSM belt developer dude, and he told me.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody needs to make like a whole belt guide thing between what's the other one instead of it being corn. It's like a something belt or something like that.
Yeah, that's trisect.
The trisect. Yeah.
All that crap. It's confusing as hell.
Super confusing. Yeah.
We should get Baltic Blades to develop an app.
Belt conversion app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried the Bora belts? This Polish guy, the
purple ones, right?
Pavel, yeah, the purple ones.
Yeah. No, I've only ever seen him in the pictures from his machines when he's selling them.
Yeah, they are pretty good too. Didn't check for prices like on bigger amounts, but I've got the feeling they work longer than the VSM belts.
I mean, there's different kinds of VSM belts, right? So there's like the one for high pressure, the one for low pressure. Sure. There's different.
Yeah, not sure.
But it's a good point. I mean, Keith has a good point there. Someone should write a belt guide.
Yeah. Go for it, Keith.
Yeah. Maybe. That's a lot of work. Well, you got to buy a lot of belts too and try them out, or get them to send you free ones.
Yeah.
I would say most knife makers, at least in Austria, that I know and talked about, I think probably 90% of them are using VSMs.
VSM,
I think for the price,
is the leader.
Yeah.
I mean, and for a reason, right? They make very, very good belts.
Yeah. Of course.
At a decent price. Yeah.
At a decent price, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you buy them like in bulk orders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or pallets.
Or pallets.
Yeah. Albert buys so many, they make whatever size, whatever grit he wants. They'll make a whole batch for him.
Yeah, but they do that for all their customers, I think. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Camon had get some crazy dimensions.
Yeah, they produced
belts.
them like in, what was it, like 2 meters wide? And then they just cut them down to the length you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, speaking of belts and grinders and shit, did you guys see the new belt grinder that Tobin sent over to America?
Yeah.
Tobin Machines.
I didn't see it yet, but Chris from Forgeworks told me today that I have to check out Tobin's new grinder. Kind of like, he said it's like the wet dream of all knife makers.
Yeah, he made it. Well, I went to visit him last Friday. I picked up a bunch of Apex Ultra Steel, and he asked me if I wanted to see the grinder, and I hadn't heard about it yet. We went over into Tobin's side of the shop, and the machine was all broken down to be put on a pallet, so I just got to see. I didn't see what it looked like all put together, but it's kind of like a version of Camon's grinder, but in Tobin's style. So it has a huge trough on the bottom to catch all the water, so you can do like a waterfall grinding system, like similar to Camon's.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a 75 millimeter band. I think it's the wide band.
I think it's even wider, isn't it? It's wider. Yeah, it's a 4 inches, so it's like 10 centimeters.
100.
Okay,
Yeah.
same like Camon.
Yeah, it's inspired by Camon's grinder, I think. And Anchorage Forge bought it, right? So that was Anchorage Forge's grinder.
Yeah.
You saw there. I wonder how much he paid for it. We were talking about this today, but I mean, what would you expect, or do you know, Keith, how much?
No,
it was?
I don't know, but I'm guessing like 7.
Okay,
like that.
7.
We thought like 10 grand.
Yeah,
Could be.
yeah.
I mean, with shipping and all the import fees and everything.
We would have said 10 grand. So it's a 4 inches by 79 inches fully enclosed wet grinder. I mean, being the wet dream of all knife makers is like pun intended, right?
Yeah, and the cool thing is like most of his attachments fit on there. Like the rotary platen, I think, is in one of the pictures already mounted.
Yep.
Where did you find it? I don't find it on the Tobin Instagram.
Anchorage Forge.
On Anchorage Forge.
Anchorage Forge. Okay. Yeah, Anchorage Forge.
Did you see the 2 new beers that he put out too?
Oh yeah, Finkel Ferguson got one. So
yeah, it
awesome.
looks awesome.
Awesome.
And Huber's with the giant hammer.
Yeah.
But the one from Finkel looks awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I don't know about the beer though. It sounds, I mean, something to do with cheese and the beer and all kinds of stuff like that. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like regular beer.
Thing looks sick. Nice. I mean, Oliver Tobin also built the wet grinder for what's his name again? The other guy from Apex Ultra. The Swiss guy from Zurich.
Is it Guldiman?
Guldiman.
Marcus Guldiman, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Marco.
And he's also running this full enclosed waterfall grinding systems, which Oliver built, I guess.
Have you ever used a wet grinding system before? Or the misting? You have the misting system, I think, Albert, right, on some of your grinders?
Yeah, always using the misting system. And I upgraded, so I'm using like 2 misters from both sides. And right now I'm trying to build like a cooling system for the platen.
Yeah.
Because it always gets pretty damn hot.
I made one. I have a like a radius contact wheel, not a wheel, platen, a radius platen on mine.
Yeah.
And I made it water cooled with a pump and stuff.
Okay.
It does help, but I think on its own it's not enough. I mean, the radius platen is a huge curved surface. That thing really is dragging the belt across there. It builds up heat.
Yeah, but that's the same on my Tobin or on both my grinders, because I'm using a much bigger plate than the default. It's like 270 by 75 millimeters. So there's a lot of friction and a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And I'm just designing in CAD this aluminum platen stuff, and then put a tungsten carbide in front. And I was thinking about using one of these industrial, how are these things called? These things you use for lasers. This cooling stuff you use for lasers and for induction forges and all this stuff.
Just like the cooling, it has a cooler that cools off a tank.
Yeah.
And you pump the coolant through it. Yeah, I mean, you definitely need a certain amount of water that you can keep. If you just keep circulating it through, the water's going to end up heating up. So you need a bunch of it. Either a huge tank that you recirculate or something that you cool off, like you said. But.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're going to design a 2-piece of aluminum and then mill out like a track in the aluminum and then put them back together again.
I've got this small magnetic cooling system from RD Knives.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a small magnetic cooler which I can put on my Pavel grinder. And it works pretty good so far, but I guess for the Tobin it's just not enough. Not enough power.
So is this air cooled?
No, it's also water cooled.
Or it's also water cooled. Albert, you made something, or you made quench plates that were water cooled, right?
Yeah, aluminium quench plates that were water cooled. Yeah, or we still have them.
Yeah,
they are water cooled, and they are awesome because if you plate quench like 10 knives or 20 knives in a row, right? The plates get pretty hot, but with the water cooling system, so with these 2 pumps, they stay cool. And we just have a water bucket with 2 pumps in there. And if it's like summer, we put like ice cubes or one of these cool bags in there, and the water stays super cool. And you get a very consistent heat treatment because the plate, the quench plates always have the same temperature then, right?
Yeah, especially being aluminum, they will cool off pretty quickly. So what kind of condition is the hammer that you got? You guys got to do a lot of work, or is it?
We don't know yet. We don't know.
So you don't really know till you tear it down, huh?
Yeah, we don't know yet. I mean, that's what we do with all the power hammers and all the machines. And not all of them, but most of them we disassemble them completely. And I mean, we have to get the ram out. We have to take a look at the hammer frame, the piston rings and everything. So, and only then we can tell exactly what needs to be done. But the ram looks good. Not too much rust on there. There's not too much play between the ram and the hammer frame. So it looks very promising. And as I said, we've just rebuilt a machine that was completely gone, right? So we know how to rebuild this machine from scratch almost. So, yeah.
Yeah, when I went to visit Tobias, he just got there's like another section or a room that was attached to his shop. I don't know, somebody moved out or whatever. The landlord wanted to rent it, so he picked it up so that they wouldn't have somebody moving in, because there was like a sliding door in between his shop and this area. So they got a couple of old power hammers out there. So his one of the guys that works for him, Flo, is gonna rebuild these ones kind of on the side using that room, and have a couple of power hammers for sale. They got a few things out there, a big sandblasting cabinet, a huge one, and some I think there's a mill or a lathe or something out there, a couple of old tools.
Is he rebuilding the 2 Bachets Tobias was talking about when he was on the show, right?
Yes, yep.
Okay. Yeah, Bachets are way more complicated than these Kuhnreiter hammers. So these Kuhnreiter hammers, they are very simple machines. A Bachet is much more complicated because of the valves, and I mean everything's heavier and stuff. So
because you got the 2 valve system and the self oiler and all that stuff.
Yeah, and and the valves have to be at a certain orientation for them to work properly and stuff. So,
well, I guess now's the perfect time to tell everybody about Patreon supporters. If you guys want to help support the podcast and keep us going so we can make awesome episodes like we're doing now, you can join us on the WFI Europe podcast on Patreon. And right now we got a few listeners that joined us. We got Chris Stiegler from Kanji Knives, Sven from Nord Artisan, Johan Fagerlin from Fagerlin Bladesmith, Travis Haynes from Bird Forge, Roy Rutten, Shay Dashant, Paul Balletta from Balletta Handmade, Stickoy Baker from Baker Forge and Tool, Alex Greenaway from Trenton Knives, Cardoso Knives, Bob Workman from The Shoe Shed, Richard Schultz, Fingal Ferguson, Oliver Tobin from Tobin Machines, Cochrane Knives, Matt's dad Jan Bicker, Luke Johnson from Crafty Man Forge, Ryan Chadbourne from the Hustle and Grind podcast, Brian Hunt from Hidden Rose Forge, and Gabe Fletcher from Anchorage Brewery. A couple of those guys will be at the Austrian Knife Show if you guys want to come by and meet them in person. And our newest member, Kurt Glatt, right?
Yeah.
Silence.
It's not too expensive, Kurt.
How much is it? And what do we get?
The price of a cup of coffee.
I think it's €1 a month or something, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of levels, but most of them are €1.
We should start doing an after show or a pre-show for our patrons at some point, right? Because they don't get anything. Because you want to edit some more? No, I mean, it's got to be an unedited post-show.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with something then. So when we have a guest on, we ask them certain questions, or each of them gives us some tips or something like that.
Yeah.
After show.
Yeah, there pops up a question. It's like, what are you looking forward the most on the WFI Euro podcast? Is it exclusive work of the creatives or stay in contact with other fans? I guess it's exclusive work. Go for it.
I mean,
thanks for nothing.
We kind of started.
Bitch.
Yeah, that's the best level right there. No, I mean, the reason why we started it was to get different makers from across Europe to get their name out and get more people to hear them, meet them, and listen to their story.
Yeah.
But we've been having some trouble getting makers, or just not having enough time to contact all these other new makers and get them on the show. One of the problems is usually a microphone and headphones, that kind of deal. A lot of people that want to come on that said they will do it, but they're looking to try and find a microphone or borrow one, or so maybe we need to buy something and ship it, but then you get a bunch of extra costs shipping things back and forth all over the place. Yeah. So if you have any idea for new guests, Kurt, you can let us know. Maybe we'll get them on.
Yeah, we think about it. Did you already talk to Richard
Schultz?
Yeah.
Yes, he was on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the next thing. We end up with a bunch, all Germans and all Austrians on the show.
Yeah, Keith, that's your job. You should ask some Americans to be on the show.
Well, they're not part of Europe, which was the original plan. But we've had a couple Americans on. Corey Baker was on. Who else did we have on? Ryan Chadbourne, Laren Thomas, Entiat.
Now that you said Larry
Anytime.
Thomas, did you watch or read the new Damascus
article
stuff from Larry? Yeah?
Yeah, about different steel combinations and pattern welded Damascus. Very interesting. Yeah.
Very interesting, yeah. Very good one. I was wondering about the whole 15 and 20 in combination with O2 steel, because he mentioned like extreme grain growment above like, what was it, 780 degrees or something. And I'm used to harden my Damascus on 820, I guess. Which steels do you use?
Using A2?
O2 and the 15 and 20, yeah.
Mainly, yeah. I mean, we also use like Apex and stainless, but mostly it's 15 and 20 and O2, yeah.
Okay. And at which temperature do you harden?
820.
820.
Same like you.
Okay. And did it ever occur to you that you have like this grain growment?
No, but Laren said when he was on the show, he said in the after show that the temperature most people use for hardening these steels might be too high and the steel might get too brittle.
Yeah.
He said that in the after show when he was on our show.
Okay.
But I didn't do any research on whether or not That's actually
because
the case.
on this article he said
that's
something
what he found,
like
yeah.
above 780, 790, something like that. The grain will grow a lot, and you should harden on a lower temperature. So that's a very interesting point.
Very, yeah.
You gotta like set aside a whole day in the workshop, like heat treating coupons and then testing them. And
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do more or less the same. So when I get a new steel, like right now it's the 2419, which I want to use in some mono steel knives and also in some Sanmai and Gomai builds, and I did like maybe 20 of these small billets to test and to see where the grain gets to a good point.
And do you also have a hardness tester?
Yeah, of course. Talking about steel, do you have like a all-time favorite steel? Or like, let's do it like this: 2 favorite steels, 1 stainless, 1 carbon.
Keith, tell us.
Yeah. Well, I think the only stainless, that's not true. I've done other ones, but AEBL would be my favorite stainless because it's cheap and easy to heat treat. And for the carbon steel, it has to be Apex Ultra, right? What else would it be?
Of course.
Yeah. Albert's gonna say RWL 90.
Yeah, RWL 34, Tama steel.
34,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, for the stainless, that's right. That's my favorite stainless steel.
Okay.
It's not too expensive, also very easy to work with, very nice to polish, super tough, awesome edge retention, very high hardness, and super corrosion resistant. Yeah. But if I would go for a cheaper version, I would also go for Abel, or something very similar to Sandvik 14 C28N. On Keith's side, when it comes to a bit cheaper stainless steel. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, also ABL or 12C27 for the stainless, and for the carbon steel, I would guess my new favorite is the 2419. I mean, I love the Apex, and I do a lot of knives with Apex. But it's a bitch for forge building. The 2419 just welds super easy and also has extremely good edge retention and high sharpness. So I would say 2419 right now.
Where do you get it from?
The 2419? From my steel dealer. It's Besta, German steel dealer.
Yeah, they were at Solingen last year.
Yeah, exactly.
We've met them.
Yeah, that's where I met them.
I mean, I have one knife out of this steel made by Meerschott. And it's an awesome blade. I mean,
the 2419 or the 2419.05, because Meerschott like to use the 05.
Yeah, it might be the 05. Yeah.
Yeah, which is different.
How different? I mean, why is it different?
This was like, what is this guy called? The German Damascus Pope.
Balbach.
No, other guy from Ruhrpott. He's also like the inventor of TNT 666 and 125 SC and the 2419.05. He's like a guy from Duisburg, and he's doing
Joachim Schultz.
Nope.
Right?
No. Achim Wirtz.
Is it Achim Wirtz?
Achim
Wirtz, yeah. There you
Achim
go.
Wirtz.
I just mixed the letters up.
Yeah. And Achim Wirtz did this 2419.05 steel in like a small batch. Don't know how many tons, but not many. And it's more like the Oh boys, this all these steel numbers. I just talked to a guy I met in Schafheim in December. That's like a very small knife show. And he called me a few days ago. He had so much to tell about all these old steels from the 70s, but I can't remember. So, but the .05 is different from the normal 2419. It's more like, more high performance steel. The 2419, I guess it's about 0.8% carbon, and the .05 is 1.2 or 1.3% carbon, so more or less like the Apex Ultra. Pretty much same as Apex. But that's also the reason why Apex Ultra and this .05 don't forge weld that good, or you can't use high heat to forge weld them.
But did you run into any issues with Apex, with forge welding Apex? What happened?
for the first time, like 4 weeks ago, I had the most horrific knife making class ever. 4 people in my very small workshop, and normally I only do like the default Damascus kitchen knives, so 150 to 200 layers Damascus, and then forge them, grind them, and that's it. And in this case, I've been like very, very sick before the class, and the guys asked me to if we could also do like a 5-layer build with Apex Ultra core, and so I said, yeah, sure, why not? It's less time consuming than forging a Damascus. And then everything went wrong. So on the first day we started forging the plates. We forge welded all the billets, and then we went on to the rolling mill, and then the rolling mill broke apart. And so I had to...
Oh shit.
Yeah, like the whole front wheel, the whole front roll fall out. Mm-hmm. So I had to get the welder and weld everything together again. And then we continued, and then next the foot pedal broke apart. So back to the welding machine, weld all the shit together, like super redneck. And in this time, the steel was still in the forge. So I guess it just got too hot for a long time. Yeah. And on the second day, like 12 midday, we've been finishing the grinding. And there have been just like holes in the whole blade.
Yeah.
So you've been able to look through the blade. So it was absolute worst case scenario.
What did you do then with the students? Did you make new knives or?
I just grabbed some pre-made Damascus from my drawer, and we forged new knives from 200 layers Damascus in like about 2 hours or something or less, and hardened and grinded everything on the second day. I always do like a 3-day class, because if something happens, I still have the Sunday to fix it.
Yeah.
And so everyone got a good knife in the end, and everyone was happy. But this was the first time for me having this problems with Apex Ultra. I've heard from a lot of other knife makers that they have problems and it's cracking and stuff, and never happened to me before.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get distracted, especially on something like that. You really got to watch the temperature on those.
Yeah, you just have to watch the temperature. You just have to be very careful with the temperature. And I mean, you know my forge, right? It's PID controlled and everything. But if you just let them soak too long on this high temperatures, they might, get too hot and brittle.
Yeah, but how do the holes form in it though?
Again?
How do the holes form in it? You said there was like lots of pinholes.
The holes is like, the steel is like totally crumbling. The whole apex steel is totally crumbling. So after grinding them thin, there just have been like parts breaking out of the steels.
So it starts to like break down and at this grain structure and just crumble to pieces.
Exactly. The grain boundaries just break.
Mm-hmm. Well, that hasn't been a good week for you then with forging.
Yeah, had some bad luck. But I also in the last 2 weeks I started forging for the knife show in Austria, and I already have, let me count, 14 blades forged.
Oh, nice. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, normally, I don't really have the time to forge that many blades. So this was a very productive week. And also
sounds
a nice mix.
Sounds like a lot of hand sanding.
It's like 5 blades from ABL and 5 blades with Apex Ultra as core and 2 monos, and then all the integral Damascus stuff.
So you also forge ABL knives. It's not just stock removal, it's forged ABL.
It's forged ABL. It's I did like 2 mono steel ABLs, and 3 of them are 5-layer builds with nickel, and also 1 with copper again. And that's.
Do you
really...
also have to anneal it? Do you also anneal it after forging the ABL? Do you need to file it or drill some holes, or can you work?
Nope.
Okay.
I did anneal the ABL with the copper because I did 2 billets. One is going to a customer, a billet to a stock removal guy. So I had to anneal it. But normally I don't anneal the ABL.
Because with these stainless steels, the annealing process can take a very long time, right?
It's like 20 hours or something.
Exactly, yeah.
15,
or 20,
15
maybe even
hours,
more.
15 degrees per hour for 200 degrees.
Something like that.
So that's insane.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking, and it takes up so much power.
Yeah.
If you have to run a big oven for 20 hours or even more. Yeah. That's why What?
Is that like the cooldown rate?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cooldown rate. Yeah. That's why we prefer water jet cutting over laser cutting when we do stainless steel knives, because then we don't have to anneal them.
Yeah, I found a new guy in my area who's laser cutting, but with some kind of cooling. What is Stickstoff in English?
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen cooling. So they don't get this extremely Entkohlung an der Schneide.
Yeah, decarb. Yeah.
Decarb, exactly. Yeah. So I was thinking about, I'm just working on like a first test batch of a production knife right now with the 2419. But I was also thinking about cutting ABL to size.
Guys, we got an hour and a half right now. We probably got like an hour and 15 minutes of the episode because we started a little bit earlier than that. But I gotta pick up my daughter in a little bit because we're home alone here.
All right.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna call it a show.
Sure.
What, do you have anything you want to add? You want to talk about? You want to tell us your website?
It's glattKnives.com, and you find me on Instagram, glatt_knives. Yeah, that's it.
And we can find you at Knife Show Austria, May 10th and 11th. Are you doing any other shows this year?
Solingen, of course. Guess that's it. That's enough.
No German shows, Ulking?
No. Was thinking about Schafheim again, but there's also they are organizing a small knife show in Münster. Yeah.
A new one?
I guess it's a new one, but I don't know a lot about it.
You have to message me the name because I'll forget. I can check it out.
Yeah, but Solingen in Austria is just enough for me.
That's a lot of work to get ready for those.
Exactly. And the tables in Austria are much bigger than the ones in Solingen, right?
Everything's bigger in Austria. Not just the table.
Yeah, he told me, I think the table is 190 by 80 in Austria, which is definitely bigger.
Yeah. Solingen was, what, 110, 120 by 80?
So something like that, yeah.
I guess I have to forge some more knives.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks again, Kurt, for joining us.
Yeah.
Your second episode. And we will talk to you guys again next week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.